how has virtual welding improved learning for students? So Kenton, we'll have you answer this one first.
So for what I've seen is because they do get immediate feedback and they can actually see what they're doing wrong immediately as they're going through the weld, that definitely helps them for sure. And I've noticed, even with some of my sped kids, it gives them a little bit more, feedback that they need, and it gets them a little bit more comfortable using it before they actually go out into, using the real thing. And, it covers, your basic, work angles, travel angles, distance, and all of that. So, when I'm using that terminology out in the shop, it's not going over their head because they've been introduced to it through, going through the virtual welders.
Okay. Go over to Jamie. How have you seen it improve learning?
Kind of to piggyback off of what Ken said, one of the things that I've seen, and I've a few educators who I've been in their classrooms, they've even bought VR, guideWELD VR, with special ed type monies and helping within that. And reason being is just that is because especially in those special ed type of groups, it is something that they need that help to get in and be able to have that hands-on learning, that understanding before they go and do the live thing. So a lot of times a little bit extra help or a little bit extra training. And so that's a big piece where I've seen it help. The other place that I've really seen it, and this has come from multiple instructors, and again, I've come from East Coast to West Coast, so I've traveled a lot, and so is Chris here, but is one of the things they said is it's improved not only student learning, but who's coming into the classroom. That they have more females coming in and taking some of their classes because they didn't really maybe want to go out in the lab, the welding booth right away. Once they realized they have some of those skills with VR, they've started to work in and say, you know what, I'm ready to take that next step. So the confidence level has been improving. I don't know if you've seen that, Kenton, or not, or Chris, have you seen that? But another piece that I've seen is not only, those students, but it's also improved that idea of just the knowledge of welding, where they get so much more practice in the, quote unquote, the simulated arc time, where they're getting that improvement. And it's because of a lot more practice where they start to realize, oh, I'm doing this wrong or that wrong, rather than having to go to the instructor and say, hey, this is the problem. So they have some of that knowledge base before they go in. So I've seen that. I don't know if you guys have seen that or you want to speak on that at all.
No, yeah, I definitely noticed that as well. And, it does help them build, the confidence and, like was said earlier, sometimes welding equipment is terrifying to kids and they're scared of the sparks and the heat and the fire. So starting them off kind of gradually works them into it and builds their confidence up to where they're not as timid when they get out into the job. So.
And to jump in there, just kind of in that same question, there was a question that was asked that I just got told about was, what is a WPS? And that's a great question because that's kind of what we're talking about. We have some students who don't know what a WPS is, and we're talking about, and so through this, they start to learn, and a WPS is a welding procedure specification, or basically it's kind of an outline or a standard of you need to have certain, metal requirements and your work angle right and your travel and certain things that have to be correct to then have a weld be passable. And, even that, there's a lot of that kind of stuff that are, students don't maybe have an understanding because they're coming in fresh off of that and not knowing those things. And this is that first time learning it and being able to see it. And then not only hearing it, but then going and doing it and saying, oh, I got to hit these kind of requirements. And so they're putting kind of the knowledge into the practice as well. So I don't know if you've seen that or if you kind of have that stuff. But.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a good way to touch on all those beginning basics and get them jumping into this program, which is, at that level, something brand new to them. So if you eliminate all of the reservations they have to try something new, this becomes a fun way for them to actually learn a new skill set, learn new terminology, and really open their eyes to what else they can do, what other skills they have that they may not have realized.